But how would you rank these four teams, Paul, if you were to do your own 1 through 4 ranking? And this will all make more sense with the follow-up question after it.
Yeah, Fields, the real issue is who's number one, and I'm not talking about who is really number one, it's who is the best team. And for most of the season, I thought it was Georgia, but I lost a lot of faith in Georgia in the SEC championship game. Their offense sputtered, and the defense, which we all thought was impenetrable, just collapsed. So I will agree with the committee in relation to Alabama. Now Georgia, in my mind, still would be number two, ahead of Michigan, which I think we fell in love with late in the year because of the Ohio State win and the Big Ten championship win. So they would be three, and obviously and predictably fourth would be Cincinnati.
Now, Paul, I got to ask you, when you look at this matchup between Georgia and Michigan, I think Michigan personally is one of the most complete teams in college football. What do you think their chances are actually defeating Georgia on Friday?
Harry, I think they're reasonable, and it's so hard for those of us who live in the South, who got mired in this Georgia run, to separate ourselves from what we saw, because you just simply can't say you played Alabama and you ended up getting shredded. So, let's just call that a mulligan. You don't get mulligans in this sport, and so I hear you. I resisted what I was watching with my own eyes all year with Michigan. They looked good from the beginning, but again, just like I said with Georgia, you're hung up on, well, when is it going to collapse? And when they faded against Michigan State late, a lot of us said, okay, here we go again. But that was a hiccup. That was an aberration. That wasn't who this Michigan team was. This Michigan team was exactly who we saw against Ohio State. So I hear you. A lot of my friends like you who played the game, understand the game, believe Michigan is going to win this game. I'm not quite convinced of that, but I would not call out the reserves to battle you on it either. I think the line's a little out of whack there. Georgia's a 7 point favorite. I think it's going to come down to one or two plays. And I know that sounds cliche, but I think it is a very close game. I do like Georgia though.
Paul?
Yeah, you're not crazy about saying that though, Paul, because one of the things that I don't think a lot of people understand about football games, whether it's at the college level or the national football level, there are about 4 to 6 plays that decipher and decide a football game. And if you're on the bad side of that, that means you lost. If you're on the good side of that, that means you won. So I think you are right about that.
So, Paul, you mentioned that obviously your number 4 team in your rankings is Cincinnati, which I think most people agree is that's where they deserve to be slotted, even as the only undefeated team. But strange things can happen in college football. What is the roadmap to Cincinnati pulling off what would be an historic upset on Friday against Alabama?
I think they need to watch the Auburn game, Fields, and replicate it as much as humanly possible. And I realize everyone in the country this morning, either watching or listening, may not have seen that game, but that was a game that Alabama's offense was inept the entire game until the final drive. And the reason was that Auburn, which was a pedestrian team, they finished 6-7. They lost yesterday in the Birmingham Bowl to Houston. Simply put pressure on Bryce Young the entire game. He was running for his life. Alabama's running game, which has not been great, it was a little bit more challenge in that game because of an injury to Brian Robinson than it will be this weekend. It just simply couldn't get anything going until Bryce Young had that insane 12-play drive in the final 2 minutes of the game when Auburn simply forgot that they should play reckless, that they were a 6-6 team and they had nothing to lose. That game went into 4 overtimes. My point being, pressure Bryce Young. That's dangerous, but it's not as dangerous today on Friday that it has been, because John Mechie, who is the number 2 receiver for Alabama and who started the season number 1, and Jamison Williams came on from Ohio State and took that role over, is out of the game. They are very thin at running back. Another thing that concerns me a little bit is Marone, the offensive line coach, who was out for a couple of days with COVID. He and Bill O'Brien, I know they're back now in Dallas, but some continuity there, even though there's a long layoff of 3.5 weeks between games. So I think that's the ticket. Cincinnati's very good defensively. They have a really strong quarterback. Cincinnati has to play like Auburn did up until the end of that game. Just play reckless. They have nothing to lose. This is this is their moment. I know Cincinnati realizes that so many things are resting with them. But the Power Five has been brilliant in the bowl season. They've been beating SEC teams. They've been beating ACC teams. This is not a game to get uptight. This is a game to go for it.
Mr. Paul Finebaum, I can't agree with you more. When you look at this Alabama football team, you look at a couple games. You mentioned the Auburn game. You look at LSU. You look at Texas A&M, and then you look at the Arkansas game, and then you look at the Florida game. The common denominator in all those games is that on third and medium, third and longs, they brought those linebackers up at the line of scrimmage to try to create confusion. And some of the teams, they brought blitzes from depth. Some of the teams, they brought linebackers, the linebackers. Some of the times, they bailed the linebackers out just to create that confusion, and they got pressure on Bryce Young. I was surprised in the SEC championship game that this offensive line of Alabama actually picked up a lot of the blitzes that they did, because previously those games I just mentioned, they did not. They were terrible in doing so. And then when you look at Cincinnati offensively, what's been the recipe of beating the Nick Saban defense, right? A dual threat quarterback and tempo. If Cincinnati, this little break that they had, if they can develop that tempo on offense, use Desmond Ridder with his legs, they actually have a chance. But I do feel like I think they're going to hang in this game early, but Alabama is just going to be too strong and take over at some point.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.